The heart of my home is the kitchen. And at this time of the year, it's the perfect place to gather and celebrate the festive season. For me, Christmas is all about rustling up some fantastic food and eating it in the company of my favourite people. These are the dishes that I cook when I want to spread a little bit of cheer. These are my Christmas home comforts. Christmas may be a time of goodwill and good living, but it catches up on all of us eventually. And after days of eating big meals, you'll be craving something other than turkey and sprouts. But I've got some great dishes to give you a lift and help you survive the rest of the Christmas season. So today, I'm throwing out the festive cookbook and frying up a steak. My ultimate lunch is just perfect. Following it with a simple dessert that knocks the socks off plum pud. This has got all the flavours that you want, but it's nice and light. And spicing up the seasonal menu with my Michelin-starred mate, Purnell.
I'm still a massive kid at Christmas.
You're nearly there with it from the big man himself, aren't you, Rig?
I've always loved you, you know that.
But before rushing headlong into anything else, let's start the day with something leisurely. A simple meal that's so quick and easy, it'll almost be ready before the kettle's boiled. Now, this dish is perfect for a Christmas breakfast. Rather than sort of going a full English, which is fine, but quite filling, this one's actually quite light, but full of flavour. A lovely apple and potato Rosty. I'm going to do that with fried egg and a bit of crispy bacon. But it's all about the Rosty. So the first thing you use is some good quality potatoes. You'll need 4 spuds. And the key to making a crispy Rosty is to get as much moisture out of them as you can. To do this, grate them onto a clean, dry tea towel, then do the same with 2 apples. I told you it was easy. No need to peel it. Just add some nice colour to it as well. Now, these are eating apples. These are not Bramleys, because they're a bit too sharp for this. Gather it up and squeeze the juice out of it. All the water and starch, and you see how much stuff comes out of it. You squeeze it like this. It's really important when you do this with a Rosty, otherwise the end product doesn't taste very nice. And believe me, that's about as energetic as this recipe ever gets. When you've got as much liquid as you can out of the potato and apple mixture, add 75 grams of creme fraiche. And then just to bind it, just a couple of egg yolks. Now, this just takes a humble Rosty to a whole different level. So you're combining all the ingredients in, the apple, the creme fraiche, which adds a nice little sharpness to it as well. Season the mixture generously, and then get your frying pan on at medium heat. And then use a combination of veg oil and butter. You knew it was coming. Now, the reason for the oil is to take the butter to a higher temperature. If I just used veg oil, you wouldn't get the colour on it. And if I just used butter, it would burn before the inside is cooked. And then what we can do is grab yourself these little chefy metal rings. If you haven't got one, put it on your Christmas present list. You'll want to half fill the ring with the potato mixture, then remove it and make another Rosty. After the drama of a Christmas dinner, putting this together feels like a walk in the park. What I love about this dish is that it's really quick, really instant, but tastes fantastic. Now, the key to this is just leaving it for a little bit before we turn it. You've got to really regulate the temperature a bit, turn it down a touch. So as soon as it colours on one side, then it's stable enough to hold together and flip it over. And then we can just cook it over the other side. It doesn't take very long at all. It's only going to take probably 5 minutes to cook all the way through. And the creme fraiche will keep it lovely and light rather than it soaking like a sponge, which a lot of Rosties do, and it can turn greasy. So I'm basically just going to turn the heat down of that. Next up, we can cook our bacon. And for that, there's no other way really, apart from grilling it. So you've got some good quality back bacon.
The rashes will take 3 to 4 minutes, and in that time, your Rosties will be ready. So you can get on with frying the eggs in the same pan.
Again, been a bit chefy. Using these little metal rings, crack the egg in the middle.
Once the eggs go on, you're just a few minutes away from putting your feet up with a delicious breakfast.
But it's that flavour of the apple and everything else that just makes this taste just fantastic. And there you have it. My lovely apple and potato Rosty with crispy bacon and a pan-fried egg. And I, for one, can't wait to dive into this one. That Rosty is like the best hash brown you've ever tasted. You can use it for so many different things. If you want to do it for lunchtime, bit of chicken over the top, even a nice pan-fried bit of fish. It works with everything. This is absolutely perfect for this time of year. It's quick, easy, convenient, and full of flavour.
Such familiar, comforting flavours are a surefire way to get you through the festive season. And one of my all-time favourites is roast beef. It goes with Christmas like Highland cattle on snowy Scottish hillsides. This may look like a greeting card scene, but crofters Robin and Penny Calvert enjoy views like this every day, from their home in Rogart in the northeast of Scotland.
We've not always been here. We're what you might call incomer crofters. We've been on this place now about 23 years. Before that, both my wife and myself are musicians. We'd actually lived here for a while just in the house, and eventually the crofting side of things took over the music side of things, and we ended up working here full time.
The couple have around a dozen breeding Highland cows, with their calves and a pedigree bull called Seamus.
Come on, big boy. We classify ourselves as high welfare on here. The animals are very, very carefully looked after. They're exceedingly well fed. As you can see from the way we handle them, obviously not stressed or anything, and this does have a big bearing on the eventual meat that you get from them.
And that meat is highly prized. The cattle live outside all year round, so caring for them can be hard work, especially as the days get shorter and colder.
Christmas time, it depends. I mean, you have good years and bad years, but on average, we've got a lot of frost then, no natural vegetation on the place at all, so you're feeding constantly. It's really a case of just maintenance, keep making sure that everybody's well filled, plenty of water, a lot of water carrying when everything freezes up. It's pretty hard work, to be quite honest.
Sounds like Seamus agrees. But it's not all graft up here. Even hard-working crofters get to appreciate the holidays.
Traditional Christmas can often be weather-orientated. We've known ourselves get snowed in for 4 or 5 weeks at a time, but it's cosy. It's a lovely time at Christmas because you get the folk in and you take it a little bit easier, and the house gets nice and warm, and a few drams and one thing or another. It's a great time at Christmas.
But even if they do get snowed in, they're never short of food.
Our Christmas dinners are quite exciting things because it has to be complete home produce.
And with 120 acres at their disposal, Penny loves to hunt for the best wild ingredients she can find.
Foraging is very important on a crofting lifestyle. You've got the berries, you've got brambles. I'm picking chanterelles for our meal this evening, and what I'm doing is making sure that I get chanterelles, not false chanterelles, because they can be poisonous. Unlike a mushroom which has a lid and a stem, this has got the markings going all the way through, so you can't mistake a chanterelle.
With Penny out on the land, it's left to Robin to prepare their special slow-reared beef for the table.
We're in the cutting rooms now, where we do all the meat preparation. We handle the entire product, literally from birth to plate. Hanging is of the essence for all beef. This has been hung about 32 days, all right? Beautiful dark meat. What you're doing is you're improving the texture of the meat, you're improving the flavour of the meat. Particularly from a cooking point of view, it will tenderise it.
Beef this good should be shared, so it's just as well there's a bit of a shindig planned later. Penny and her friend Liz are cooking a beef Wellington, using their own homegrown Highland meat and the foraged chanterelles.
Christmas on the Croft is really very special because everybody hides away in their own houses, so you have to make a big effort to go and visit. But when you do visit, people are very, very generous and have lovely ceilidhs.
And by the look of it, some pretty spectacular food.
The most tender piece of beef I've probably ever had in my whole life.
I've got my own Highland cows as well, and yeah, I can't fault Highland beef. It's delicious. I love it.
I have to say, Robin, that is probably the most tender, tastiest bit of fillet I've ever tasted in my life. And could do with another bit.
And to finish off their ceilidh in a time-honoured way, the Crofters round off their evening with some music.
Well done. Brilliant.
I love getting out for a walk with Ralph after days of festive indulgence. It never takes us long to work up an appetite, though. He's happy with a dog biscuit or two, but for myself, I like to rustle up some delicious Highland beef. Believe me, it's the perfect antidote to an overdose of turkey.
Now, one of the ultimate pick-me-ups at Christmas time has to be a steak, and this is a real classic. Steak bordelaise. It's all about the sauce to go with the steak. We've got a beautiful cut of meat here, some nice sirloin, but the sauce itself is made from just a few ingredients. A little bit of garlic, some shallot, mushrooms, some nice stock, and some good quality red wine.
To get the sauce going, first finely dice 2 shallots and throw them into a pan with a good dollop of butter.
And a little bit of garlic. And I always like to add 1 clove per portion, so a couple of cloves will be enough for this. And we can just basically roughly chop this. Now, we're not colouring the shallots that much, and caramelising them, browning them off too much. Just sweat them down nicely. So while the shallots are cooking, we can turn our attention to the mushrooms. I've got some lovely chestnut mushrooms in here, bang in season at this time of the year. Now, you wouldn't use wild mushrooms for a bordelaise sauce. Just some button mushrooms or chestnut mushrooms will do great. You can add those to the pan.
You'll need about 150 grams of these. And once they're in the pan, add a generous glug of good quality red wine.
Now, of course, it's the red wine in there that gives this sauce its name, bordelaise, the Bordeaux wine that goes in it. It's quite an important part of making a good quality sauce, is to actually put the red wine in and reduce it down by half before we add the stock. So this is actually quite a key point, really. So we just bring this to the boil and gently simmer this for about 3 or 4 minutes.
As soon as it's thickened, add half a litre of beef stock, then simmer on a high heat until the sauce is reduced by half again. It should take 8 to 10 minutes. I'm also making sautéed potatoes. They're such a nice change from roasties. Start by dicing some spuds and fry them in lots of butter. What else?
And then you kind of do what the French do. Garlic. Whack, whack, whack. Straight in. We want to get a little bit of colour on these potatoes, so we're not going to cook them all the way through at this point, just to colour them. So turn the pan right high. Now we can add some fresh thyme. Just a few sprigs. Now, with your potatoes, I'm going to serve it with this. This is calvanero, or black cabbage it's known as well. The Italians use this a lot, French use it. Nowadays, we can grow it. I actually grow some in the bottom of the garden as well. It's fantastic for this. But unlike normal conventional cabbage, this requires a little bit longer to cook. So it's perfect to go in at the same time as your potatoes.
When you've chopped the cabbage, put it into the pan as soon as the diced potato has coloured. Add a little water and cover. You've probably got a lid at home, but I can never find mine, so I'm using tin foil. Either way, the spuds will need to simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes.
And now for our steak. This is some beautiful sirloin, which is perfect for this dish. A piece of meat like this, it's always nice to have a decent sort of chunk, I always think. Some salt and some black pepper. Rub it over with just a little bit of veg oil over the top. And then I've got hot griddle on here. And basically we're just going to sear it on the hot griddle for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side.
You don't have to use a griddle for your steak. A hot frying pan will do the trick just as well. However you do it, let the meat get to room temperature before cooking.
Now, I feel as I'm cooking some Highland steak like this, it's kind of payback really, because I've quite an interesting story with Highland cattle. I was filming for the BBC up in Scotland, and one of the cameramen, typically, startled this massive great Highland cattle, to which it flew round, and its horn basically caught me right in the centre of my chest, and it ran off. It was pretty scary, to be honest.
Thankfully, I lived to tell the tale, but I don't know if the cow's still around. Anyway, cooking these steaks couldn't be easier. Just give them 3 to 4 minutes on each side, all the time keeping an eye on the sautéed potatoes.
When you start to hear them fry again in the pan, just lift off the tin foil. You can just check to see where they're ready, but see all that nice black cabbage is cooked. The potatoes are nice and soft. So all we can do now is just season that. So as soon as your steak is ready, take it off the heat. They look pretty good.
The meat will now need to rest, leaving you time to finish off your delicious sauce.
This is nearly ready. And you know that as it starts to boil, you end up with loads of bubbles. As it starts to thicken up, the bubbles start to decrease, which this is in here. So at this point, take it off the heat, have a little taste. It's about ready, I think, that one. We can then get our chopped parsley.
No prizes for guessing how I'm going to finish it off. With butter, of course. But there's no denying it adds a little something extra to the sauce.
What you end up with is this beautiful shine on the sauce. Gives it a lovely glaze. It's pretty good. Season this up with some salt and some black pepper, and then we can put this on the plate.
When you're working with fantastic ingredients like these, you can't go wrong. And if you're at home relaxing, a nice glass of red works a treat with this.
This dish really epitomises what I love about this time of the year. It's warming, it's comforting, but also it's classic cooking. My ultimate lunch. The Highland meat tastes fabulous, and there's no better sauce to go with it than a Bordelaise. It's just perfect.
Unbeatable, in fact, no matter what the season. I have to be honest, though, it's never going to please the calorie counters out there. We've sent our festive food reporter Annie Gray to explore Austria's Christmas markets. She's on the lookout for some healthier seasonal favourites that are guaranteed to give us a lift.
The air here is full of fruity smells, and there's fruit in a lot of the produce as well, everything from delicious cakes to tasty fruit punches. But I'm on the hunt for a Christmas speciality in its freshest form.
And a few weeks ago, I tracked these down in a very unlikely location. Ursula Kujel and her partner Harold Tietz are mad about figs and are managing to grow them just 5 miles from the centre of Vienna. Luckily for me, I arrived just in time for the harvest.
Hello.
Hello, Annie.
Ah, this is amazing. You've got figs growing in the middle of Vienna. They look absolutely superb. And they're ready now. Sie sind reif? Reif?
Reif, yeah. I will show you.
Wow.
You can see?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a fig as juicy.
Do you want to taste it?
Yeah.
And I?
It's like jam.
Well, really.
It's so sweet. Beautiful.
With honey included, like this.
You can buy them in the UK in supermarkets, but they're always dry inside. This, I salute you.
Wirklich?
Yeah.
I suspect that in their 9 years of fig growing, these guys have never seen anybody eat one right down to the stalk. Who knew figs could be so delicious?
I've left just a tiny bit.
Before I strip their orchard of fruit, Ursula and Harold want to show me their massive greenhouse. Figs are usually grown around the Mediterranean and in the Middle East, But the couple are managing to produce 50 varieties under glass here in chilly Vienna, and Ursula tells me she's come up with ingenious ways to use the fruit. There's a fig mustard, fig schnapps, fig jam. The range is huge. Frankly, I can't wait to see what we can do with these figs so that I can have a bit of figgy goodness for my own Christmas. Ursula is going to show me how to make a few seasonal dishes. In Britain, we've been enjoying figs at Christmas for centuries, but I think it's fair to say that Ursula's recipes bring things bang up to date. We're going to be baking our figs with a bit of balsamic, some walnuts, some ginger, and then they're going with this, which is venison ham. Sounds like a really lovely starter for a kind of Christmas feast. So what are we going to do first?
At first, I start to cut the figs. And please, if you help me, and you ruffle this ingwer.
OK.
Let's start. Oh, this smells.
It does smell like Christmas.
Yeah.
It's quite good exercise as well. Warms the body just by physical work.
This is the first step to warm up.
Ursula halves whole figs and I add spicy grated ginger along with walnut pieces. It's pretty Christmassy stuff.
Der Ingwer drüber gegeben und jetzt kommt diese Balsamico-Reduktion zu sprechen.
Wow.
Ein Whole Balsamico.
This is balsamic dressing going onto the figs.
So, und sind wir fertig und jetzt kommt es in den Ofen und wir machen da 180 Grad mit Ober- und Unterhitze.
Okay, that was easy. So they're just done. They're going in the oven for about half an hour at 180 degrees. With all these figs knocking about, it would be rude not to make a seasonal sweet too. And it's no surprise that Ursula's got one up her sleeve. We're making a special Christmas dessert. It uses these figs and they've been preserved in a sugar syrup along with spices. We're going to warm them up slightly and pour over them this fig liqueur, which has also got a lot of spices in, along with Merlot wine and rum. We're going to put those on a plate with some ice cream. In this case, it's fig ice cream. So, so Christmassy.
Kling, 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 kling.
Die Farbe sind... Oh. Und das ist fertig?
Of course.
Wow.
Bitte.
Oh. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's so luxurious and yet at the same time so light. Figs are really good for you. They're packed full of fibre, which is obviously good for the digestive system, but they also contain magnesium and calcium and vitamin A and vitamin B. So they might look like something that's just sweet and a bit bad for you, but they're actually a really good, healthy Christmas treat. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The days after Christmas are a great time for me. They're my chance to hang out and do nothing more than watch old TV shows. And I'm certainly not going to overdo it in the kitchen. But I do like to rustle up a special figgy dessert, which is light and packed with fruit. Don't think I've suddenly gone all healthy though.
Let's face it, who doesn't like chocolate around Christmas time? But this is a great dish. It's a mousse cake. So the first thing we need to do is melt the chocolate.
Set a bowl over a pan of water that is gently simmering and break 300 grams of chocolate into it.
Now, you can't make this with milk or with white chocolate. It must be done with dark chocolate. Now, what I like about this, that although it's actually a cake, it's lovely and light. It's kind of based on a chocolate mousse, really, but when you bake it in the oven, it contains no flour, so it keeps it nice and light. So into the chocolate, I can add some butter. Now, we want about 150 grams of butter.
Leave everything to melt for 3 to 4 minutes, giving it a stir every now and then. Meanwhile, grease a cake tin with a generous amount of butter and put a disc of silicone paper in the bottom.
And then we can line this with figs, these beautiful purple figs. Baked figs and chocolate are a great combination. You can either cut this in half, which I'm going to do, or actually use them whole. The key to this is not to add too many. If you add too much fruit to this, it's going to add too much moisture that turns into steam, and it's going to ruin your cake.
8 to 10 figs will do the job, and make sure the narrow part of the fruit is pointing towards the centre of the tin. Then get on with the slightly messier job of separating 6 eggs.
I find it much easier to use your fingers for this. Crack the egg into the palm of your hand, the whites fall through, done. And then we can get ready and whip up our egg whites.
While the egg whites are in the mixer, add caster sugar to the yolks and whisk until thick and pale. Then throw in 4 tablespoons of orange liqueur, although you could just as easily use seasonal tipples like brandy or rum. Then with your chocolate melted and both your egg whites and egg yolks ready, it's time to make your light cake mix.
So I always find it easier if the chocolate bowl always stays as the main bowl, and then you pour everything into that one.
When the yolk mixture is in, add half the beaten egg whites and combine. Then fold the rest in gently.
Common mistake is when you're doing this is to over mix it. So I'm not beating it all up, it's basically just cut and fold through. So when everything's mixed together, you can pour the whole lot over the top of the figs. And then just pop it straight in the oven.
The oven has to be preheated to 180 degrees centigrade, and the cake will need to cook for 20 minutes. So it's much quicker than traditional Christmas desserts. And while it's baking, all I need to do is sort out a few simple finishing touches.
Now you can't have chocolate without a bit of cream. So it's just going to whip up just a little bit of double cream. And then carry on that same influence. Touch of orange liqueur. And then just lightly whip it. Right, our cake is cooked. Now, before you take it out the tin, it's a good idea just to grab some cocoa powder. Now, a bit like a brownie, really, you've got this crust on the top. To soften the crust while it's still warm, you use some cocoa powder. And just sprinkle that over the top. Not too much, but this will just soften the surface of the cake. And then you can just pop it out of the tin. How good does that look? Now, this is one cake that you want to eat at room temperature all while it's still warm. Now, always at Christmas time, we love chocolate desserts, and we love desserts in general, but so often they can be really, really heavy. This has got all the flavours that you want, but it's nice and light. And for this time of the year, it's about perfect, to be honest. Just delicious.
Once the big day's over, I'd much rather tuck into this than face yet another slice of Christmas cake. But festive food these days has nothing on the seasonal feasts our rich ancestors loved, though. Even the greediest took a break from the wall-to-wall stodge every now and then, as food historian Ivan Day has been finding out.
In the 17th and 18th century, highly decorative salads were fashionable amongst the wealthy, designed to show that you could afford the most luxurious ingredients for your grand Christmas feast. The grand salad that I'm going to make is from this little book, which was written by a man called T. Hall in 1709. He calls it the Queen's Royal Cookery and claims to have worked in Queen Anne's kitchen. The salad contains a number of surprisingly exotic ingredients. And that's the reason I've chosen to make it.
The grand salad is full of rare and expensive items, many from abroad, but they're nearly all preserved. So in those days, they would have come from the winter store cupboard. It all begins with the centrepiece. Ivan chops white and red cabbage and parsley, and then presses it round a slab of butter. Now we're talking.
The ingredients were prepared well before Christmas. In summer, fresh vegetables were covered with vinegar, salt and spices and stored in stone jars. These were often covered with a pig's bladder and a sheet of chamois leather and made a seal as good as any modern lid.
And here's how the veg turned out. Asparagus, green beans, samphire and capers, all pickled and ready to be arranged on separate sections of the plate. But as well as British produce, the salad features much more exotic fare, the sort most people had never even heard of in those days.
We know that mango was served to James II at his coronation feast in 1685, and at the same period, bamboo was even enjoyed by some wealthy diners. But they had to be imported in pickled or preserved form. They were so costly that they were often counterfeited from other ingredients. For instance, mango was often made from cucumbers and melons, and fake bamboo was often prepared from elder shoots.
Nout fake about these ingredients though. They're being left whole for guests to marvel at. Right, fruit and veg sorted, now it's time for some seafood. This salad includes delicacies like pickled anchovies, oysters and scallops. Ivan's also throwing in a few mushrooms and olives, before adding some decorative lemon slices and pickled barberries. These are similar to cranberries and are supposed to be good for settling an upset stomach and cleansing the liver. Just what you need at Christmas.
The word salad comes from the word sala, which means salt, because original salads consisted of greens that have been preserved in salt.
The sprig of rosemary that goes on the top is like a mini Christmas tree. And one last addition of beaten egg white looks like snow. Now remember, this salad's just for royalty, so Ivan, we're allowing you to taste only one ingredient.
Well, I think I'm going to go for the exotic. So let's have some rare bamboo from the East Indies and see what that's like. This is modern. It's pickled in brine, which is exactly how it would have been back at the time of Queen Anne's Christmas feast. If I had been Queen Anne and I'd stuffed myself with poultry, game and meats, I'd have a wonderful fresh reminder of the vegetables of summer, a perfect cure for Christmas over-indulgence.
Ralph is the only one in my house who never tires of seasonal treats. Although something tells me he's getting a bit bored of his festive wardrobe. But I'm giving him time off for good behaviour because my Michelin-starred mate, Glyn Purnell, is down from Birmingham. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, yeah. You all right? Not too bad, not too bad.
What, you come to stay, have you?
I've come to stay for the weekend.
Glyn's helping me add a kick to the festive menu with a spicy dish that puts reheated Christmas leftovers in the shade.
I'll be the commie.
Well, yeah, well, you're definitely the commie today, so I thought we'd do a lovely prawn Thai curry, if that's all right.
For me as well, this time of year, you know, you've had all the festivities and the rich foods and the sprouts. You know, I'm not a massive sprout fan.
You're not a massive sprout
fan,
fan,
No, I'm really not.
Why is that?
I just think they're awful, but I love a bit of spice, you know? Okay. A little bit of kick, and I can see we've got something a little bit more aromatic than a normal curry I'd expect.
Yeah,
so...
well, we've got a little bit of kick as well, but we're going to make a curry paste first of all.
Yep.
So I'm going to get you started, because I know you're keen to get started.
You know what I'm like, James.
Yeah,
I'm straight in.
You're like a racehorse, ready to go. We're using 2 large shallots for this. And while Glyn gets on with those, I prepare fresh ginger and galangal. You'd never found this in supermarkets about 20 years ago.
No.
You never found, to be honest, ginger, but galangal's an amazing sort of fragrant...
It's almost got a bit of a citrus to it as well as that gingery sort of smell, which is really nice.
So tell me about your place at Christmas then.
Christmas Eve, very special time for me.
Yeah.
I've got 3 children, but even without the kids, I'm still a massive kid at Christmas.
Yeah?
Definitely. So Christmas Eve, I make mince pies with them.
Right.
We get flour, which we put some special dust in there, which is reindeer dust.
Right.
And then we sprinkle all the dust so the reindeers know where we're coming. Right. And then we write the letter and we leave out the mince pies and...
You're nearly there from the big man himself, aren't you, really? Because this has grown quite a lot over recent months, hasn't it?
It has a little bit, So not only are we part of Christmas, we want to look part of it as well.
I look part of it. He looks like a member of the Anthill mob, I think.
Joe, I've always loved you, you know that.
The next job for my Santa Claus commie chef is to chop a couple of stems of lemongrass. Our shallots and spices then go into a blender, and Glyn moves on to prepping the fresh coriander.
I presume you do all the cooking at Christmas, then?
Yeah, I do all the cooking, and I think you probably have the same thing as me. As soon as you start cooking, people think it's some sort of live show. So they all...
Tell me about it, yeah.
Well, we're in your house. So, like, and then all people would start all gathering around here, and then I'd give them something to peel, and then I'd drag somebody in to maybe top the wine up, and then I'd get someone to lean over and stir. So I like that interaction of getting everybody involved.
You see, I want people out of my kitchen because my mother always interferes. She says, why are you doing roast potatoes like that? I never taught you to do roast potatoes like that. And why don't you do proper gravy and all that fancy jus stuff?
Would you just tell her that jus is just a translation into an English word of gravy? I mean, you could win around on that, couldn't you?
It doesn't really work.
Glyn's obviously never met my mother. When the coriander's chopped, add this and a couple of cloves of crushed garlic to the rest of the spices in the blender.
In here, we've got the red chillies, which have been soaking.
So these are dried and then you soak them?
Yeah, a little bit of water, just to basically blitz it all. I'm going to use some kaffir lime leaves, which I love. We can get these frozen as well. They're amazing, aren't they? Fantastic. And then some of this Thai fish sauce, which also... This is great for Christmas morning. It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It's a little bit harsh.
Right, a bit of that in there. And then just give it a blitz. I'm going to turn that into a nice curry paste.
Well, that's the plan anyway.
I know what you need for Christmas.
A blender?
No, an instruction kit of how to use a blender.
I normally do it by hand.
If I keep Glyn away from the technology, it'll take a few minutes to blitz the ingredients to a fine paste. Then get a wok nice and hot and add veg oil.
All you got to do is fry up a little bit of this paste, really. What I love about this is how quick it is. So are you a purist then? Are you a turkey man? Or what?
I like a good duck or a goose, to be fair. My wife loves turkey, so we sort of, you know, although I do wear the trousers and I am in charge.
No, I've been to your house. You're definitely... Like, you are definitely not in charge of your house.
No.
Now, I'm going to get you to chop up some water chestnuts, if you can do.
Use a whole tin of chestnuts for this. And while Glyn's busy with them, I throw 400 grams of prawns into the wok. This is the kind of dish I love after a few days of massive festive meals. But my mate has much more unusual tastes.
The first time I ever saw you cook, what was that dish that you did? Was it Rice Krispies? No, what was that dish?
Cornflakes.
Cornflakes?
Yeah, No, basically, it's smoked haddock milk, poached egg yolks and cornflakes. It's all like a story. The whole thing is a story from me growing up. Come on, James, you was all right.
Do you serve that drink at Christmas that you serve in your bar?
No, we don't serve that.
You infuse lamb fat,
We infuse lamb fat with rum, and then we make like a lamb roast dinner, which is interesting, to say the least. I think one or two and you've had enough, yeah?
Do you want me to finish on
No, I'll
chopping
chop
these?
these.
No, see, you've gone on Michelin star on me, look. You've chopped them all.
They're too small?
Yeah, look, no, they're too thin. Chop it up into chunks.
Oh, OK.
The rough and ready water chestnuts go into the wok along with palm sugar, tamarind paste, a tin of coconut milk, and a touch of white pepper. The whole lot needs to gently simmer for 10 minutes. So I've got Glyn on to chopping some spring onions for my noodles.
So what's tradition in your house then at Christmas?
We have dinner, right? Then we wash up.
You do all the washing up, do you?
I do some of the washing up. Then what we do then is, we normally got the in-laws, or sometimes, depending on what mood they're in, the outlaws. Normally,
chili as well, while you're chopping.
Normally, we would have a game of cards. To make it a bit interesting, we sometimes have a little bit of a flutter, but only with 1 piece, 2 piece. One year I got absolutely cleaned out. I lost 87 pence. Devastated.
Who cleaned you out?
The mother-in-law. She's a shark, she is. It took most of the festive period to get over that.
It's a lot of coins, is that?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Right, can you roughly chop me the peanuts as well?
Roughly chopped or thinly sliced?
Well, I know. Just chop, chef.
I'm just teasing.
Just take a little bit of oil in here. We'll fire this one on for the noodles. There's two types of sauces here. This one's the authentic one, the hot and spicy one, or we've got the sweet chilli sauce.
Yeah, I reckon we go for this one.
Do you reckon you go for that?
I like a little bit of power, yeah.
Okay.
I like a little bit of heat. I think with the aromatic, the smell of the aromatic with the galangal and the coriander, I think it's going to go perfect.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
You taste it first?
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
Put your finger in there and taste it.
I'm all right with that one.
You all right with that?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, we'll have that one. I'll have that one, yeah.
He's a brave man, is Glyn. Be warned, you won't need more than a tablespoon of this stuff. Then follow on with your spring onions, 3 finely sliced chilies, and the noodles.
And then we'll throw in the peanuts, mix it all in. Bit of coriander going in.
I also add a splash of both soy sauce and sesame oil, and then stir fry everything until it's hot.
And you can have a taste of the noodles, see if you're happy with them. Don't look looking for knives and forks, just pick them out. It's my house, just pick them out with your fingers. Happy with that?
Nice, yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice bit of heat.
Bit of heat, I know, I was going to use the sweet one.
When your taste buds have been dormant after roast potatoes and meat and roast potato, you need that smack in the face of that spice, that little bit of a gap between Christmas and New Year. Bang, that's what you want.
While Glyn serves up the noodles, I add the juice of a lime and a handful of chopped coriander to the curry.
Nice balls, James.
Happy with those?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. They're counted, so I know how many I've got when you...
What do you think I bought that massive suitcase?
Yeah, I didn't. What did you bring the massive suitcase for anyway?
It's going to be slippers. It's going to be smoking jacket.
Right, now you can have a taste of this, because tell me whether that's right.
All right, it smells delicious.
What does it need? Don't say start again.
That just needs serving. That's what that needs.
Does it?
It just needs serving.
Are you happy with that?
It's bang on that. You know what you're doing, don't you?
I'm surprised ourselves, to be honest.
You can see where you're going with the slices of the water chestnut.
You see, look, chunks of water chestnut.
Yeah, you're right, because you got the texture, haven't you? You got the texture with the prawns and the chestnuts.
Shut up a minute and just go and eat.
Go.
He may love to natter on, but my mate Glyn is definitely right about one thing. A bowl of spicy food is a welcome break from endless Christmas stodge.
Well, it's certainly warm anyway, isn't it?
And beer, perfect marriage. Cheers.
Cheers, fella.
No one ever said Christmas had to be all about heavy roast dinners and endless plum pudding. Once the festive period is over, there are so many fantastic light dishes that are easy to make and packed with comforting, homely flavours that will always revive your spirits.
You asked me what was in my bag.
Yeah.
It's a homemade Purnell candy cane.
You make these?
Yeah, I made them yesterday. Thought to myself, you know, I've been invited around for a bit of a Christmas celebration. Yeah. I'll bring a little bit of Christmas.
Bring a sweet?
Bring some sweets.
I'm honoured.
I always think as well, the most important thing you can give to a person is time, and it took me so long to make them. I've never done them before.
No, you can tell.
Because they're different. Each one of them is got...
Oh, look.
The shattered, no,